All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, Roger Waters, former lead singer and founder of the band Pink Floyd, he's still a lead vocalist. He's just not in Pink Floyd and hasn't been in Pink Floyd since, I don't know, like what, 1985 or something like that. When the band officially broke up and David Gilmour took the brand over and ran the thing into the ground. No, I'm just kidding. Some of the Gilmour material, and people like David Gilmour a lot, as I do as well, but I think Roger Waters and David Gilmour were a lot like a Lennon and McCartney type team, and that creative tension, which began to really destroy the band, especially on the album The Final Cut, was actually productive prior to that and made Pink Floyd a very interesting and very political rock band. And some people don't like that. Some people just want to go and be entertained and they don't want to think about stuff. Well, Roger Waters will make you think about stuff. Now, what's interesting is I watched the performance. It's a medley of 2 or 3 songs in a row. It starts off with The Happiest Days of Our Lives, and then it goes into Another Brick in the Wall, and then parts 2 and 3. So you're getting, this is like listening to the album essentially, and you're getting, one cut after another. Waters is about to go on what he calls the This Is Not a Drill tour. And it was postponed a couple of years ago because of the thing-demic. Now, Roger Waters, during the performance, he's got a screen behind him, and the screen is flashing images. And it's pretty interesting. He's on a show that is really all about creating a narrative and really about gaslighting people and telling people that they have to do something or they have to be outraged about something. And it never ends. It never goes away on this show. This show isn't about comedy. It's not about entertainment. It's about politics. In fact, Tucker Carlson just did a video about this because Colbert's crew were all busted breaking into the U.S. Capitol. The big difference between them and the other J6 people is that they were only held 1 day in jail, 1 day, and then they were let go. And they were guilty of exactly the same crime as the people on J6. Most of those people from J6 are still being held with no due process. I don't think Roger Waters approves of no due process. The other thing that's interesting is Colbert is a corporatist, right? Here's what Roger Waters says his tour is going to be about. In a statement, Roger explained that his performances will offer a stunning indictment of the corporate dystopia in which we struggle to survive and a call to action to love, protect, and share our precious and precarious planet home. Now, you may think, okay, that's a nod toward climate change or whatever is the issue of the day. But the fact that he called it a corporate dystopia, and I've said for quite a long time now that the government and corporations are basically working side by side to create this dystopia. And Waters is on a show that promotes the corporate dystopia. So there are 1 or 2 possibilities here, okay? And one possibility is Roger Waters is on this show and essentially giving the audience the middle digit, if you know what I mean, saying, I'm singing about all of you people right here on this show. The other possibility is that he, erroneously thinks that the Colbert audience gets what he's putting out there, that they're all anti-war. For instance, Roger Waters is vehemently anti-war, right? And it's pretty clear based on the music that he's made over his career that he has never wavered from that idea. Whereas people who used to be anti-war are now like, you know what, that war in Ukraine, let's send them $5 billion to keep this war going, right? Let's send them another billion. Let's send them some more weapons. This is the stuff that Waters has been railing about, or railing against rather, his whole life. So, on the screen behind Roger Waters during the performance, there are certain words that are flashing on the screen. And I was watching, and it's just crazy. It's us against them. It's good versus evil. And there are several screens that, they kind of sort of panned away from. But it's a multimedia presentation with not that much sizzle to it. But there are certain words that pop up there. War is one of those words. And what is the United States engaged in right now? We're engaged in a proxy war with Russia, a hot war. Tulsi Gabbard actually said, we're in a hot war with Russia. And I agree with that. It's just that we're not being told, how we're going about this. And technically, American soldiers aren't on the ground. But I think this is more of a middle finger to the establishment than anything else. He's trying to obviously promote his new tour. This, quite honestly, is very interesting. Roger Waters basically keeping the Pink Floyd torch lit. He's going to be doing solo material and obviously a lot of Pink Floyd material. And he still get that creaky, whiny voice. And that's the way he sings. A lot of people are probably thinking, oh, he doesn't sound that good. No, Roger Waters has sung that way for, I think, most of his adult life. I mean, that's one of the things that you actually look forward to hearing if you're a Pink Floyd fan. And, you had that smooth Gilmour vocal, but then you had that angry, frustrated Roger Waters vocal, almost manic, like Harrison Ford was singing and getting wound up about something. And to me, because it's been, part of my growing up listening to radio. I remember when Brick was number one. I think it was late 1979 or the summer of 79. And it was everywhere. It just defied logic because we're talking about Pink Floyd. This wasn't a radio singles band, if you know what I mean. This was an album rock band that you heard on FM rock radio stations. And then suddenly, The Wall became one of the biggest things ever. And I still think Dark Side of the Moon is slightly better than The Wall, but because there's so much material on The Wall, it's hard to, compare the two albums. I would say as a double album, it's probably one of the best ever, if not the best ever. Just a ton of music on there and so creative. And Roger Waters is behind a lot of that songwriting, a lot of those themes. So again, he goes on Colbert, who is the ultimate corporatist, and he tells the world that he's about to indict the corporate dystopia that we are all struggling to live through. Just amazing irony. Some people may not pick up on that. Some people may think that, I'm off the mark here. But I really enjoyed the performance. You can check it out. Again, his band is very solid, very tight to listen to. I don't know how much tickets are to go see Roger Waters, but this is a bucket list item. If you're a Pink Floyd fan and you haven't seen Roger Waters, he's certainly going to be vocal. He'll certainly say things that you'll probably disagree with, but I think he's a treasure in this world of sort of bland and unimaginative music, and again, a true pioneer with Pink Floyd and even as a solo artist. So there you have it, folks. Roger Waters on Colbert. I would never watch Colbert unless, it was a performance by Roger Waters or somebody that I really liked. And I skipped over the introduction from Colbert because he's just so annoying to me. And yeah, the people on his show, They should be treated just like the people who did what they did on J6. Same thing. It's not any different. In fact, I could go into details here about that whole situation, but that would be for probably the other channel or for at least another video. Maybe somehow I can work it in. But for now, we'll just stop here and say thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications on new videos. And Patreon people, it's the summertime. People are out, they're about, and a lot of times they're not watching the channel. So I'd appreciate if you could think about maybe doing $1 a month to support the channel. It's much appreciated. And yes, of course, I will see you soon.